Hey guys, it's Pete and Roxy here coming to you from Australia today. It's a beautiful sunny day. We had our little fella break his leg a week ago, so we're dealing with that at home. And look, he's in good spirits now, but yeah, it's been a big week. And so we are just getting through that ourselves as a family unit. But today we're going to talk about toxic people and toxic friends and families, and we've got some tips and tricks that we've kind of discovered on this journey of spiritual awakening.
And guys, if this is something which you find yourself having to deal with at the moment, which is why you clicked on this video, I suggest you go and check out our one on 5 signs that you're a light worker, because the fact that you're feeling drawn to different people could be a sign that there's changes going on within you, and that is reflected on the sort of people that you wish to be around. Because one thing we've noticed is there is a real shift in our energy and who we are deciding to spend our time with. We're certainly at this point now where we're a lot more interested in talking about exciting ideas and concepts, and to talk about the journey of awakening and of understanding the self and things that are empowering. So we're a lot more drawn to talking about ideas and concepts than we are talking about people, right? Sitting around the old...
Yeah, that was probably one of our biggest things that we found when we would go to a barbecue or catch up with friends or have people over, you know, sitting around the old traditional moaning and, you know, talking about people in a negative way. And that was one of the first things that Pete and I started to feel, the energy exchange when that, like, those people would leave or we would leave certain people. The density of the conversation really affected us for the next few hours. So your energy is to be protected, and what we would suggest is for you to be very prepared and you know, be prepared of who you're going to spend your time with and what consequences will come out of people when you are not prepared.
Yeah, I think, you know, I certainly, being a business owner and running my own businesses pretty much most of my life, a lot of the guys I used to associate with, you know, whenever we were together, it was always talking about, you know, business building ideas and deals, and someone's buying a commercial property or selling one, or there's, you know, there's something going on, and it was this, you know, this hustle, work hard, accumulate stuff. And, you know, it's amazing how now I look at that and I think, oh yeah, I can see what it was, but I can see, like, as an outsider looking at that, how all of that stuff actually can either be a distraction or just ill-informed in people thinking that if they satisfy those certain objectives, then they're going to be happy. And I think once I really started to understand that we're not on this earth to make as much money as we can and hopefully keep ourselves in some sort of healthy order and live as long as we can until we drop dead, there's a lot more to life and to understanding ourselves and our purpose and how we can contribute and help other people. And then, of course, learning to understand how we can tap into the best version of ourselves. Like, we owe it to ourselves as humans to understand and to elevate and to work on ourselves and put in the effort so that we can be the best version of ourselves moving forward when we do eventually pass over. So the sort of people who now I want to sit around and I want to have chats about, we are talking about different modalities, different books, different talks, what's going on in the change of consciousness around, you know, the globe, in terms of people starting to realize that, hang on a sec, all the things that we're getting told by politicians and the government and, you know, our bosses and all sorts of things, people are starting to question all of that. So I've noticed a shift within my friend group, and it's not so much even that it was negative. It was just like spending 2 hours talking about hustling and business building wasn't something I'm as drawn to anymore. And let me just say too, there's no problem. Still friends with those people, could still sit around and kind of talk the talk if I needed to, but I notice that I'm doing it, if you get what I mean. I used to just get in there and get involved, you know, and if it was the football, it'd be the football. If it was politics, we'd be talking politics. If it was world events, I'd get involved. Now, I see what the conversation is and I can still get involved and I know what's going on. But I, in the back of my mind, realise that there's bigger fish to fry, for a better term, there's bigger things going on. And if I can find someone who stumbles down a start of a conversation like that, wow, away I go.
Well, we've learned now that we've been elevated so high because we've done the work and done some healing this year. We're being the observer of ourselves in those conversations, and we're looking at what really matters. Well, a lot of people still are asleep and they're still at the very beginning of the journey, and we appreciate that because we were there once. And it's not that they are doing it wrong, it's just that we've elevated through that, and we wish them a beautiful journey because you have free will here and we choose to elevate. We hold a lot of importance on elevation of consciousness, rather than the ego, lifestyle of business and wealth and competition and materialistic things. So we're drawn to this path, and when you awaken, you are just naturally wanting to elevate, and you do hold that importance. But while you're still stuck in the density, you mightn't realize exactly what you're doing because you got the blindfold on. But so becoming the observer of yourself in those certain circles, and then like Pete, transitioning into, okay, I don't really want to sit there every single week. Maybe I'll go every 3 weeks, or just to keep that contact because you care for those people. But really zeroing in on who you spend your time with and your energy with. And a lot of the time we're going through these types of emotional clearing and energy shifts within ourselves, and obviously the collective right now. 2020 has been a wild year, and it's really starting to pull down some strong energies and shifts over the collective, which is awesome. But you start to feel like you just want to go into your inner temple and work through your emotions when you're on this path. So what I suggest to you is just own it and be with yourself. If you are getting told by your higher self that you should stay in because you've got an emotion coming, you should listen to it. Don't feel like you have to always be there for somebody or be a social butterfly. Like I used to think I had to be at every event, every kid's party, everything. You don't have to. It's okay. You have to choose yourself first.
Yeah. And I think, guys, if you're going to, get in a situation, I understand that you've got jobs and obligations and places where you've got to be. So if you can prepare in advance when you're going into a situation where there's going to be negativity, or there's going to be a topic that may not necessarily be passionate to you, but you've got to just get in there and contribute. Set in your mind a plan before you go in there. Have a time frame for how long you're going to be there for. Be aware not to allow yourself to get caught up in talking about people and the politics or anything that starts to spiral into a panic type conversation. Pull yourself out of that, or you be the director and guide it and go, anyway guys, we're not here to talk about that, we've got to make a decision on this thing or that thing, and guide it yourself. And also have a plan to when you're going to get out of there. If you know that if this thing goes well, you can be out of there at 3 o'clock, you make sure you're out of there at 3 o'clock, and be observing how you're responding to things as it comes along. A meditation that you can do, and a lot of people often help people with, is imagining themselves in a protective thought field or a protective bubble before they go into a negative situation, somewhere where they could potentially, there could be conflict, there could be people who are just very down and draining, even if it's family. Often it's work situations though, or dealing with the public. The person puts themselves in their mind using a visualization technique, and if you click on our videos, you'll see there's some tips on visualization. But basically you get yourself nice and relaxed, and when you're in that alpha state, you imagine yourself in a protective thought field or a protective bubble, and within that you feel strong and you feel secure and you feel powerful and positive as a person. And then you carry that image of yourself into that situation. You will be amazed how a little bit of mental preparation, just like an athlete before a big event mentally prepares, we can all do this for these sorts of things, especially for misunderstandings, conflicts, and things of that nature. It's fantastic for helping you to prepare in advance.
Yes, sounds very good. So we wish you a beautiful journey. We are on Instagram and we share lots of our home life and the journey, all conscious pretty much. So if you want to come and join our family on Instagram, it's under Roxanne Heiblin. We're sharing an account because I post all the time and Pete wasn't so much. So follow us there. Feel free to do that. And we hope you have a beautiful week and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.